I'm Ron Ravenstein from Muncie, Indiana. I think the first one, there was an ad in the paper that my wife found, and the guy was wanting to sell on contract, and so we went and talked to him because he needed money to catch up his taxes, and so we were able to purchase that for just a little bit down, and he already had a renter in there that he'd had for many years, and so by doing the numbers that Joe suggested, we were able to get like a 22.5% return on our small investment down, and get that property. I think was our first one. Okay. And it just took, didn't seem like it took more than a week to 10 days, because we had another person that tried to come in and get the deal, and we talked to another friend, and he said, well, it sounds like they're getting ready to take your deal, and so we had to go over there and move a little quicker, and he was ready to move to get that deal, because the other good deal I remember us getting was Joe said to go look through the neighborhoods and find the worst house on the block, and then contact the owner, and that's what we did, and found that the house was actually empty, and the gentleman had moved to a retirement home, and I had to actually go pick him up and bring him over for him to show me the house, and he was willing to sell it, and we found out he'd actually already sold the house to his daughter for $1 just because he was elderly, and we contacted her, and for almost nothing down, we was able to get the house under contract and agree to make monthly payments while we fixed it up with a balloon payment a year later, and that worked out really well. We fixed it up so nice that we actually moved into it.
Did you? Very good.
Yeah.
So was that?
We found it interesting. We liked the hunt of the next property and just going around and looking for the worst house on the block, and so naturally you were going to get the appreciation of fixing the house up and have other people interested in that particular area that we were at. But then we liked it, and so we just used another system that Joe taught of lease option in our house where we lived, which we already had a home equity loan on that one, and we were able to then get another one on this home we moved into, which is one of Joe's techniques. And that helped us to get started and do one of the many systems that he offers in his book. My wife actually found it on the internet back in early 2001, and
what made you decide to get involved?
We were looking at different housing options at that time. You hear other people talking about they've got a rental here and a rental there, and so we were looking at it, and another family member on my wife's side had been in kind of like the small motel, one-room type rental in another town, and so we'd always see them at family reunions and talk to them, and so they always encouraged us, so we were hitting around the edges, even with like what they call the foreclosure or sheriff sale before Joe, but just didn't know the right questions to ask or the right place to look to really get started until we saw his program, and he laid it out just a week at a time where we could digest it and understand just this new terminology that we weren't familiar with. Yes, in the summer of '01, we found his program and got started and went through that whole 6-month program, and then that's right when we finished is when we made our first offer on that house and was accepted, and started going to foreclosure sales during that period to familiarize ourselves with our local market, and that's when we really felt like that was our calling.
And so you specialize in foreclosures. How do you work in that area?
Well, we study our county. We've studied it real well over the years, and just get the list of all of them that are coming available. And then my son used to say, "Dad, you never drive straight home," because anytime we was going across town, we'd always move over 1 or 2 streets and go by and look at another house. because there was always, in the beginning, at least 5 a week that you would look at, and now it's up to 40 to 60 a month. And so we just research and kind of drive by, and you start learning what to look at the homes, and then how to go about the process of bidding on them, and then seeing what you want to do with them. And in the beginning, we wanted to get a few rentals and try that market, and then we found out we didn't enjoy that as much, like Joe, and so then we started using his lease option methods, where we sold them on contract to people, and got several of them, and then decided that we didn't want to deal with the paperwork and that end of it, because we weren't quite as good as Joe at dictating it out to other people. And so we switched over to just the flipping of the houses, and buying them and getting a group of people to work on them and fix them up and then resell them. And we just like the hunt and getting the homes, and then being able to provide homes for different people in our area. And so it's worked out good, and our son's growing up in the business and is now working for us on the homes, and helps him and his family, and several different people in our family have gotten homes. A little bit, not nearly to the extent we need to, but certainly with Craigslist has helped by marketing on those to bring buyers, and then creating a website to list our homes. And so then that works while you're sleeping. You get up the next morning, you got emails of people interested in those homes. But we want to get better in that area, and just need to kind of try to catch up with the technology, and are always enthused by the emails and things we get of Joe and his other members and what they're doing with the automation, but just don't have all the gifts that he has right at the moment, and he just keeps flying.
You're
and
getting there.
Yeah. Well, short term is to retire from my job. I've been at it for 28 years. I don't dislike it, but I knew when I saw Joe's program we wanted to plan for the future, because at retirement you were going to drop down in income considerably. And don't dislike it, but I just see all the opportunity, and just have more time to do a little more traveling. And just got back this morning at midnight from Florida. We stayed on the beach, and a friend of ours condo that they just got, and they're an investor down there, and so that gives us opportunities to go to other cities or states and do the real estate anywhere in the country, just like many of Joe's students is doing, and to help our son to grow in the business as giving him options, but just have the goal of retiring and doing this more full time, because that's what we like to do. Yeah. The automation is something I think we need to work on. That's something that the wife feels like I get too many phone calls by trying to handle it myself, but that's just my nature of trying to handle everything. But I like it when she's able to do the websites and get people to fill out the forms, and trying to get them pre-qualified and have them be pre-qualified if they're buying it, or if they're just find out how much of a down payment they have and monthly payments they can afford, things like that. So our goal is to get more automated in that area.
Okay. So
Yes, we've done dozens and dozens of flips last year, and are focusing more on that, because that's kind of what we enjoy, is hunting the property down, and then we've got a group of people that do each task, and have a little bit automated there with having roofers and heating and air guys. You just call and they come in, and got my nephew that's a good tile man now, and can beautify them with that. But and then you don't have to worry about the tenants and all the paperwork, and so yeah, that's what we like to do now. Check out Joe's program, get educated, try his steps where you do, test your own market wherever you're at, what city you're in, and just be consistent year in, year out. I've read the book over and over, and the tortoise always beats the hare. And that's what we just do. We just continually keep looking. Like my son said, we never drive straight home. We was on vacation last week, but we still look at houses down there and see what that market's like and how other people do things in another area. But we just consistently within our life talk to people. We get referrals because people just know the market we're in and the industry, and they've all got a friend or a brother or somebody that's either wanting to buy or sell a house. So by word of mouth is part of the way you can learn this lesson. But if you're interested in real estate and you want to set your hours and set your own pay scale, there's a lot of opportunity out there, even though despite what you hear on the news, each of those situations creates opportunity. And we've been able to take advantage of those opportunities in an up or down market. There's always people who are, moving, death, divorce, disinterest. People just keep moving and moving, and houses are available everywhere. And so it's been a great industry for us to get into, and we look forward to continuing to doing it. The investor we stayed with this week, he's 82. And I had trouble, keeping up with him. He just gets up each morning and goes on the websites and checks the homes. And so we hope to be active as long as he is.
Very good.
Just that we just thank Joe so much for providing this opportunity and being such a simple teacher and being available to answer your questions, and how he puts you together in networks with other members so that you can learn from each one of their talents and strengths that they have, and he shares that information to everyone in his group so that you can adjust things in your area. And we just enjoy coming back to his seminars and meeting the people and trying to help them and answer their questions. And I would recommend you try Joe's program. It's really worked very well for us. We've done better in the 10 years in Joe's program than we've done in the 28 years of my employer. And so our retirement is looking fine.
Thank you very much.